Hi, I'm Miss Megan from Cooper-Siegel Community Library, and welcome to DIY STEAM. This week's project is weaving, and you can hang it up on a fun stick and find a nice place to hang it in your house, or maybe use it as a gift. Let's find out how to do it.
Okay, this is what you should have in your weaving kit. You have your cardboard loom, you have a needle, and you have a bunch of different colors of yarn. You should go find a pair of scissors and an interesting stick for when you're ready to finish up your weaving. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put on your warp threads to your cardboard loom. So pick a fairly neutral color to do for your warp threads. These are the threads that you're going to weave over and under and over and under, so you're not really going to see them. So pick something kind of neutral. And then there are a bunch of slits on the cardboard, and you're going to put the yarn in between those slits. So I'm going to start with this one and go all the way down to the bottom and put it in on the bottom, and then go all the way up to the top, and then put it in on the next one, all the way down to the bottom, back to the top, down to the bottom, back to the top, down to the bottom, back to the top, and down to the bottom. I left myself some tails. There's a yarn tail where I started, and there's a yarn tail where I ended. Go ahead and leave these. We will tie them off when we are done with our weaving. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to choose which yarn I'm going to start with. I like this one. It's nice and bright. I gave you a lot of yarn. I don't want to have to pull all of this yarn through my loom, so I am going to cut some of it off. I have maybe 2 or 3 feet here, so it's easier to work with. I'm going to take my needle out, and I am going to thread my needle. And I'm going to start my weaving. So again, I'm going to leave myself probably 1 to 2 inches of tail so that I can do my finishing stuff. And then I'm going to start by going under this first one, over the next one, under, over, under. And that is my first line. Here's my tail. I'm going to keep it long. I'm going to scooch this up towards the top. And now I am going to go through the other direction, doing the opposite. So I'm going to go over where I went under and under where I went over. And I'm going to pull it through. Make sure as you're doing this that you're not pulling too tight on this. If you start pulling really tight, the rows will start pulling into one another, and it will make your weaving end up looking kind of messy. So try to keep it nice and loose, but tight enough that you have a shape there. And then do the same thing, going under and over the opposite ones. I'm going to be careful again that I'm not pulling too tight on here. And I'm going to keep going like this. So you can keep going with this thread until you run out of it. Or if you decide that you want to change colors, all you need to do is get to the end of one of your rows and give yourself a nice tail and then cut it. And then you can pick your new color. Let's see, I'm going to pick red. I'm going to cut a little bit of red again, like it's about 2 feet, maybe 2 or 3 feet is a good length. Then I'm going to thread my needle. And I just finished going that direction. So I'm going to start my red going this way. And I'm going to do alternate ones. Same as before. Giving myself a nice bit of tail. And I'm going to keep weaving like that until I'm either done with that color or I get bored with that color and decide that I want to change something up. And as you keep doing this, you're going to keep scrunching it up so that you almost can't see the warp threads at all by the time you're done. I'm going to keep working on this and I will be back to show you how to finish off your weaving once it's all done. Okay, when you're ready to finish off your weaving, this is what you're going to do. Oh, also, if these tails were bothering you while you were trying to do your weaving, you can always tape them to the back to get them out of the way. And then you can untape them when you're ready to do this finishing off part. So to do this finishing off, we are going to flip it over. We're going to cut all of our warp threads down the middle here. And we're going to very carefully pull them out of the slots. There we go. Pull the bottom ones out. And now it is off of our cardboard loom. Now, I'm going to move this out of the way so that you can see better. Now I have a whole bunch of threads that all need to be taken care of so that things can't unravel. I'm going to start with my white warp threads first. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take the two ones that are closest to each other, and I am going to tie them in a knot. There we go. Do next two here. And because there's 5, just take one of the other ones that's nearby and do. Now for the side ones, you should have, anytime you changed color, you should have 2 at the same time. If anything happened to go slightly off, the other thing that you can do is you can take the thread the needle again, and you can go to the back of your weaving and weave back and forth here and just kind of hide that thread. Oops. So I can hide my thread that way as well. So feel free to do that also if that feels like an easier way to do it. There is my weaving, and I can add another loop here, and then I can hang it up.
I hope your weaving projects go well and that you have fun doing them. I wanted to share a book with you called Mama Built a Little Nest by Jennifer Ward and illustrated by Steve Jenkins. In this book are all sorts of interesting ways that birds build nests. On the cover is a weaver bird that uses grasses and weaves them in an interesting way to build their nest. There are also birds that poke nests into trees and birds that build teeny tiny cup nests out of moss and cobweb. All sorts of interesting ways that birds build nests. And since it's springtime, I thought it would be fun to talk about, and also interesting to talk about how some animals also do weaving, just like we can. I hope you have a good week. Bye.